There's always an explanation.
Liz was visiting her cousin Thornton. He lived in a big old house. The house was dark and creepy at night. There was always lots of strange noises.
Liz's parents had sent her to stay for the weekend, but she never liked visiting the Blackmores. It seemed like they made a special effort to act spooky. Who else had a suit of knight's armor standing in the hallway? What other 11-year-old boy was named Thornton?
Welcome to our home, Liz. You have arrived just in time. I think a big thunderstorm is about to begin. We are so glad you will be staying for the weekend.
Thornton, can you help Liz carry her suitcase upstairs? I thought we would have you stay in the big room on the 3rd floor. It is the room with the long flowing curtains. You love sleeping there, right?
Yeah, it's a really cheery room.
Come on, Liz. We'll carry your suitcase up to your room. Then I will show you my new pet toad. All the kids like dogs and cats and gerbils. I prefer toads. They make such delightful companions.
Liz stopped by her big, dark, spooky room. She went with Thornton to look at his new pet toad. Then it was time for dinner.
As with everything else at the Blackmore house, dinner was strange. What other family ate every meal at a long table with tall candles? Who were all those somber-looking people in the paintings on the wall?
Could you please pass me a bowl of soup?
Hold on a moment, dear. Let me just finish cutting up the main course.
What kind of soup are we having? And what's the main course?
The main course is wild boar. Don't you just love the rotten apple in its mouth? As for soup, it's mushroom. We found the mushrooms in the basement behind the washing machine. How does that sound?
That sounds really good. I just wish I had more of an appetite. But I already ate dinner on the airplane right here. I think I'll just have another piece of bread.
It's your loss, Liz. It just means more mushroom soup and wild boar for me. That looks scrumptious. Mom, I'll know in 1 second.
After dinner, Mr. Blackmore read a story to Liz and Thornton. He called it a bedtime story, but it was a pretty scary story. It was about a ghost that lived in an old house. Then Liz went up to her room. The storm had started. Liz did not feel tired now. She was wide awake.
Big flashes of lightning lit up her room. Thunder rattled the windows. It seemed to Liz like everything about the Blackmore house was spooky. The really annoying part was that they seemed to enjoy making their visitors uncomfortable. Liz pulled up the covers up to her chin. Suddenly, she heard this eerie voice.
Be aware, be afraid, you are not safe. You cannot see me, you cannot stop me. I will have revenge, you cannot hide. But I will find you, I will get you.
Who was that talking in the scary voice? What was that voice? It was not anyone in the Blackmore family. Liz was very scared. She jumped out of her bed and ran into the hall.
Help! Wake up, everybody! Some kind of goblin is loose in the house.
I'm sorry, Liz. I was simply watching a horror movie. It just seemed like the perfect night with all the thunder. I guess I turned up the volume too loud, but I certainly didn't mean to scare you.
He loves to watch his old silly movies. I guess this one gave you a bit of scare. Ha ha ha.
Did you really believe there was a goblin in our house? You know, Liz, there's an explanation for anything that happens.
Liz went back to her room. The storm grew stronger, the shadows grew longer. Several hours of the night passed in the Blackmore house. She tried to sleep, but she could not.
Suddenly, she heard this weird clanking sound in the hall. She gathered all her courage. She got out of bed and tiptoed to the door. She peeked out into the hallway. A suit of armor was walking around.
I will do battle. I will fight for the name of my king. I will risk my life for my queen. I will save this land.
Wake up, everybody! The armor has come to life.
I'm sorry, Liz. I should have warned you. That's our butler, Mr. Barthmel. He is playing a knight in the upcoming theatrical production. We told him he could wear the armor when he rehearses his lines. We certainly didn't mean to scare you.
But it's the middle of the night. A humongous thunderstorm is going on, and he's practicing his lines for a play? He works during the day, Liz. This is the only time he has to himself. What a night, or should I say, what a night. Ha ha ha. I didn't even know you had a butler.
We just hired him. He was doing some work down in the basement when you arrived. He found the mushrooms, so now you know. You realize, Liz, that there's always an explanation for anything that happens.
Liz did not sleep at all that night. The next night there was another storm. Mr. Blackmore told another scary story, but Liz planned to make sure she got a good night rest. She planned to do everything she could to ignore the strange ways of the Blackmore family.
Liz put a special white beauty cream on her face. It was a gift from her grandma. She figured it would make her feel better in this very spooky house. Then she put in some earplugs. A stewardess had handed them out during her airplane ride. There, she's feeling better already. The only problem was she was really hungry after avoiding all the bizarre food served by the Blackmores. It sounded like everyone else was asleep, so she decided to sneak down the kitchen for a snack. Thornton, who heard her walking down the steps, he came out of his room to see who it was.
Liz! Liz, is that you? Liz! Liz, hey, why won't you answer me? If it's really you, Liz, answer me.
Liz kept walking down the stairs. As she went, Thornton got a good look at her face. It was bright white.
Mom, Dad, help! Cousin Liz isn't human. She's some kind of terrifying ghost creature. Hide! Run!
This is not funny. No, this is not funny at all. I'm getting very scared, dear.
Out of the corner of her eye, Liz suddenly realized that there was a big commotion. She took out her earplugs. She turned her very white face towards the frightened Blackmores.
Liz, is that really you?
I'm sorry, everybody. I couldn't hear you at first. The storm was keeping me awake, so I put in these earplugs to shut out the sound. I was going downstairs to get a snack. I guess I left them in.
But your face, what happened to your face? It's so frightfully pale and ghostly.
Nothing silly. I'm just wearing some beauty cream my grandma gave me for my birthday. I'm sure I didn't mean to scare you. You know, Thornton, there's always an explanation for everything.